A group of fishermen recently recorded what many are calling the most startling mermaid encounter ever caught on camera. And this time, the details are impossible to ignore. Nothing about these beings fits the explanations that science has relied on for decades. Their bodies seem to mirror traits from several ocean species at once. Their movements look deliberate, almost as if they're aware they're being watched. And every expert who reviews the clip ends up saying the same unsettling words. This shouldn't exist. So if these creatures are truly out there, hidden beneath the waves all this time, what else has been observing us from the deep? In this video, you're about to witness every recorded mermaid encounter, from the earliest sightings to shocking clips reported in 2025. Real people, real oceans, real footage. Watch closely, because some of these encounters were never meant to be seen. Everything begins with the very first moment of this mysterious footage. The haul shouldn't exist. A catch that was never supposed to exist. No one aboard that trawler imagined a routine haul would turn into the kind of footage Coast Guards laugh about publicly, but quietly dread. What slid onto the deck twisted like something torn out of a half-formed nightmare. Its jaws snapped with a sound that felt designed by evolution, then strangely abandoned mid-blueprint. The tail slammed against the metal floor in violent arcs, each strike echoing a reminder that humans were never meant to uncover every secret of this planet. And as its shaking torso strained against the hands holding it down, there was a flicker, an emotion too sharp to belong to an ordinary animal, almost like the panic of a performer shoved under the spotlight for a role they never agreed to. Behind it, the ocean churned like a furious witness. What if this moment wasn't a discovery, but the ocean starting to return what we forced it to hide? The screaming maw. It didn't start with fear, just the stunned silence of watching something on camera that shouldn't have a face. Open one anyway. And when it did, the mouth split upward in a vertical scream that made even the falling rain seem nervous. Its chest swelled like a bellows ready to release a warning. Its fingers curled inward as if preparing to shield itself. The rippling folds along its sides trembled in a rhythm so deliberate that researchers later combed through the footage frame by frame, noting how closely the movements resembled defensive signals seen in deep ocean cephalopods. But nothing in the sea has ever carried a mouth shaped like a tunnel, meant to swallow sound rather than release it. One fisherman muttered that the creature looked like it was trying to drag itself back into the storm, a thought that disturbed every person who studied the recording afterward. And when its spine lifted in a sudden arc, the whole deck seemed to jerk away from it, as if the ocean wanted its lost inhabitant back immediately. Then came the upward lunge, the face no one expected. Nobody believed the fishermen at first, not until the camera captured what their net had dragged up. Its body lay twisted in the ropes, like a misplaced artifact stolen from a museum of forgotten legends. Its limbs moved with an elegance no injured creature should possess. Its torso reflected the light, like polished metal brushed with moonshine. The long ribs, the sunken midsection, and the uncanny perfection of its face pushed experts to quietly compare it to the ancient Abkalu, half-human figures from Mesopotamian stories said to rise from the sea when civilizations needed warnings. But this thing didn't resemble a guide. It looked like a warning carved into flesh. Its mouth hung open, as if yanked to the surface before it could complete a single breath. One deckhand murmured that lifting it felt like hoisting a drowned child wearing a mask shaped by someone who had only heard myths about humans. And the moment the net tightened around its arms, something in the air across the entire deck changed, like the ocean itself was watching. The net-borne apparition. The moment the fishermen recorded this creature, no one aboard could understand why its body twisted the way it did. Caught somewhere between raw fear and something that looked disturbingly intelligent. Its jaws snapped in a rhythm that felt almost calculated. Its eyes rolled upward like it was searching the world for a way back to wherever it came from. The armor-like scales running along its spine folded with such precise alignment that experts later argued it looked more engineered than naturally grown. And the way its gills throbbed beneath the falling rain made it seem less like an animal and more like a living machine dragged from a depth where even the ocean's pressure keeps its secrets locked away. One fisherman compared its struggle to a frightened stray trapped under a storm, except this stray had a face that opened on two hinges and teeth curled inward, designed for holding something far more unsettling than prey. And what the cameras captured next that day only made the world more nervous. The unknown creature ever saw. The world has witnessed strange things caught on camera before, but nobody imagined fishermen would haul up a creature whose face looked crafted specifically to haunt dreams. Its jaw opened in a horrifying, flower-like spread. Its hair clung to its skull like weeds dragged from a riverbed. Its spine tail scraped across the metal deck with a sound so sharp that scientists later said it was the closest thing they'd ever heard to a warning from the deep. And the way its throat pulsed, steady, intentional, felt less like random movement and more like an attempt to speak through a body nature seemed to abandon halfway through designing. One crew member insisted the creature's eyes tracked him with a disturbingly human blame, as if anyone watching the footage later would realize the real monster wasn't the thing lying on the deck, but the hands trying to hold it down. The final moments captured before the clip abruptly ends have unsettled every analyst who has reviewed the footage. The siren they never expected. The rising shouldn't have looked human, yet the creature caught on camera lifted itself upright in a way no one on that boat will ever forget. Amber-tinted fins and a pale, gleaming torso came into view so suddenly that several fishermen stumbled backward in shock. Its arms positioned themselves like an athlete ready to launch forward. Its tail spread out behind it with controlled, deliberate strength. The shimmering scales around its waist reflected the light in patterns eerily similar to those found in ancient Greek siren art, a resemblance scientists later confirmed when they analyzed the footage frame by frame. They noted that the creature's spine lined up with anatomical descriptions once dismissed as nothing more than symbolic myth, as if those old legends were actually detailed observations nobody ever took seriously. One sailor swore the creature lifted its head, with the focus of someone deciding whether to escape or fight back. No written account since has captured the weight of that moment. The thing they held down. No one expected the footage to begin with three men bracing themselves like they were holding down a machine ready to explode, but the fishermen had pulled up something that thrashed with the violent force of a creature that wanted nothing to do with the world above. Its torso rippled in harsh, shuddering waves. Its throat stretched open wider than anything with a jaw should ever manage. The pale rings across its chest quivered like muscle fibers, tearing under the weight of gravity. Scientists later admitted they had never seen a body react to open air with such deliberate resistance, as if it recognized every hand trying to restrain it, rejecting them with the precision of something designed for the deep, not for human eyes. One of the fishermen whispered that touching its skin felt like grabbing a soaked furnace wrapped in nerves, a description no one has been able to repeat without trembling. Whatever they dragged onto that deck did not come willingly, and the next few seconds of footage make that painfully clear. The upward lunge. For all the terrifying things ever caught on video around the world, no one expected to see a creature that tried to rise instead of escape. The camera captured it surging upward with the strength of something that had never once been restrained in its existence. Its teeth clattered in a snarling rattle. Its arms lunged toward the nearest sleeve, and beneath its silver skin, rows of bone-like plates pushed forward, a sight scientists later described as a biological contradiction. Its body looked built for combat, yet its movements echoed a drowning swimmer fighting for one last breath, a combination so unnatural it left even seasoned researchers without words. One deckhand confessed he felt the creature's tail slam the floor like a judge's gavel, as if a verdict had already been passed the moment they laid hands on it. And the final second of the footage captures an emotion none of the crew have been able to describe without shaking. The net risen horror. There's a single moment in the footage, barely a heartbeat, when the creature's head rises through the torn net and every man on deck steps back as if the ocean itself tilted under their feet. Its gills snapped open in clean, vertical slashes, its fingers stretched wide, thin and rigid like a fan carved from bone. The torso, shielded in rows of faintly overlapping plates, trembled with a controlled rhythm so unnerving that the researchers who later reviewed the clip compared it to the guarded postures seen in long-extinct sea predators. Yet none of those ancient fossils ever hinted at a throat that opened into a flawless circle wide enough to swallow half a helm. The net didn't trap it. It outlined it. Every twitch, every breath, framed on the deck like a specimen no one was prepared to confront. And when its tail slipped around the railing with slow, deliberate strength, even the wind seemed to quiet down, a presence rising from the deep, one that was never meant to be seen. The net thrashed anomaly. No two people who watched the footage could agree on the exact second their breath caught. Was it when the creature jerked upright, as if defying nature itself? Or when the boat shuddered so hard that every fisherman instinctively grabbed for something solid? Its tail slammed against the deck in sharp, sweeping motions, scattering water like shattered glass. The upper body twisted with a control that felt disturbingly intentional. For a moment, the pale underside stretched in the tangled net, revealing muscle lines working in a rhythm that experts later described as planned resistance, a phrase that unsettled even the scientists reviewing it. It didn't move like an animal panicking. It moved like something executing a long-awaited escape. And when its spine cracked against the wooden planks, the sound rang out across the deck, a heavy, ancient thud that felt less like an impact and more like a reminder, as if whatever they had caught wasn't simply alive, but returning. Every second of video after that feels less like evidence and more like a message none of us were ready to hear. It started as a solo dive near an uncharted island, one of those places rarely marked on maps and almost never visited. The water was unusually clear, but something felt different the moment he descended. Beneath the surface, enormous tree-like shapes rose from the ocean floor, their trunks wide and ancient, stretching upward like a submerged forest, frozen in time. As he moved closer, the light shifted. The water grew quiet, too quiet. Then he noticed movement. At first, it looked like a shadow drifting between the underwater trees. He assumed it was a large fish, until the shape stopped moving away and began moving toward him. Slowly, something emerged from the water below. The creature rose just enough to be seen. Its skin was a pale gray, almost white, reflecting the filtered sunlight. Its eyes were completely white. No pupils, no color, just blank, watching. A defined backbone ran along its body, visible beneath the skin, ending in a long, powerful tail that moved with controlled precision. This wasn't a random animal reaction. It felt deliberate. For a brief moment, the diver froze. The creature hovered, studying him, as if deciding whether to retreat or advance. Then, without warning, it slipped back into the depths, disappearing between the massive underwater trees as if it had never been there. The diver surfaced shaken, unable to explain what he saw. So, the question remains. Was this an undiscovered deep-sea species, or something ancient that was never meant to be found? Watch carefully. The mouth that fought back. No one watching the footage could understand why the creature's entire chest surged upward, as if trying to launch itself back into the sea before the fisherman even had it secured. Its jaw snapped in sharp, aggressive bursts. Its throat peeled open like a hidden second mouth. The ridged plating along its sides flexed in rapid, unsettling waves that left scientists stunned when they later reviewed the recording. Because every muscle reacted not like instinct, but like calculation. Each movement seemed aimed at breaking free. Each twist shaped by a mind evolved for depths humans will never touch. A mind that rejected the surface world the way a drowning man rejects flames. One fisherman insisted he felt the creature's breath vibrate through his gloves, almost like a personal warning. And the final twitch, captured on camera, changed the air in the room for everyone who ever watched it. The deckside breakout. The chaos didn't begin with fear, it began with disbelief. Nobody expected a creature caught on camera to move with the explosive force of something that had tasted freedom its entire life. It thrashed so violently, the deck seemed to vibrate. Its tail struck the floor in sharp, rhythmic snaps. The layered plating along its spine flexed like metal shutters, straining to break open. And when scientists later reviewed the slowed footage, they admitted its struggle looked less like panic and more like the calculated escape patterns of top-tier predators. Except no predator known to science twists its torso with that kind of controlled brutality, as if its bones were engineered to punish anything that held it down. One fisherman claimed the creature's skin tightened under his hands, like a wound-up cable ready to whip back. That feeling stayed with him longer than the video itself, and when its tail suddenly twisted sideways, even the boat seemed to brace for impact. It was just after sunrise when people along the dock noticed something that didn't belong there. At the far end of the wooden pier, sitting alone and soaked to the bone, was a woman. At least, she looked like one. As cameras moved closer, the truth became impossible to ignore. Below her waist was a massive green mermaid tail covered in thick, glistening scales. At the end, a wide turquoise fin rested against the dock, dripping seawater onto the worn planks. She wasn't attacking anyone. She wasn't trying to escape. She was crying. Two rescue officers stood on either side of her, steady and cautious, wearing navy uniforms and bright orange life vests. They spoke softly, keeping their hands close but gentle, as if afraid one wrong move might make things worse. The woman's body shook as she screamed, not in anger, but in panic and fear. Her hair clung wetly to her face and shoulders. Her skin was pale, almost translucent. She looked exhausted, distressed, like someone pulled from a place she never meant to leave. Behind them, the harbor sat, strangely calm. A boat floated nearby. The water barely moved. People watching from a distance whispered, unsure if this was real, staged, or something far more unsettling. Some said it had to be an act. Others pointed out the details, the weight of the tail, the way the fin pressed into the wood, the raw emotion that didn't look rehearsed. The mermaid didn't fight. She didn't speak. She only cried, gripping the edge of the dock as if it was the last solid thing keeping her from slipping back into the sea. And as the officers tried to comfort her, one question spread across everyone watching. Some people says, "This is fake. What do you think about this? Is it real? Was this a performance? Or had something truly impossible washed ashore? Watch carefully." It was deep into the night when the water finally went still. A small boat drifted quietly as a group of women talked in low voices, thinking the darkness around them was empty. Then someone pointed toward the water. At first, they thought it was a man. A figure moved just beneath the surface, upright, slow, struggling. Moonlight revealed a human-shaped body, but something wasn't right. As the figure rose closer, they saw the truth. This wasn't a man. It was something else. The creature leaned against the side of the boat, injured and weak. Its chest was torn open by a deep wound, blood flowing freely. Red, unmistakably human. Long hair clung to its face and shoulders. Its skin was completely white, smooth and pale under the light, while below the surface, a powerful blue tail moved slowly, barely keeping it afloat. No one screamed, no one ran. They just stared. The women began to cry. One of them reached out, pressing her hands gently against the wound, as if instinct took over before fear could. Another whispered, shaking, like she was trying to comfort someone who was dying. The creature looked at them, not with anger, not with fear, but with exhaustion, almost understanding. The camera shook as emotions took control. This wasn't a monster. It didn't feel threatening. It felt wounded, vulnerable. Some who later watched the footage said it was the most beautiful man-like mermaid ever captured on camera. Others said the pain in its expression was impossible to fake. Moments later, the creature slipped back into the dark water, leaving only ripples and silence. So the question remains, was this an injured sea being seeking help, or something humanity was never meant to witness? Watch closely. At a depth where sunlight barely survives, a lone diver drifts through the open ocean. No dramatic music, no fear, just the sound of breath and the slow movement of water. That's when the camera captures something unexpected. Not an attack, not a shadow rushing forward, but a figure swimming alongside him. At first glance, it looks human. A female upper body, pale and bluish white, softly glowing in the deep. Her arms move slowly, almost carefully. Long, silver blonde hair floats around her face, untouched by panic or aggression. Her expression is calm, aware, as if she knows she's being watched. The diver doesn't flee, and neither does she. As the camera lowers, the illusion breaks. Where legs should be, a powerful tail moves with quiet control. Small, shimmering scales reflect the blue light of the deep, aqua, turquoise, pearled like polished stone. The fin splits into two elegant flukes, their edges faintly glowing as they pass through the water. She circles once, never reaches out, never harms him. Behind her, a rock wall disappears into darkness, green sea plants bending gently with the current. The water is clear, too clear, as if this place has been untouched for centuries. When the diver finally surfaces and shows the footage, no one laughs. Marine analysts pause the video frame by frame. No digital artifacts, no signs of AI manipulation. The movement, the awareness, doesn't match known species. Some say it's an undiscovered marine life form. Others say it resembles ancient descriptions, not myths, but guardians. So the question remains, if this creature meant no harm, what was it protecting down there? And what else is still watching us from the deep? This dive was supposed to be simple. No danger, no risks, just another calm descent to explore marine life beneath the surface. At first, everything looked normal. Drifting particles, muted light, the quiet hum of breathing through the regulator. Then, the diver noticed something watching from the blue. As he moved closer, the shape became clearer. A human-like upper body with pale, bluish-green skin. Smooth, glossy, almost glowing underwater. Its face was wrong, long, still, with deep dark eyes that didn't blink, didn't react, just stared. Minutes passed. No movement, no aggression. And then, everything changed. The creature let out a sudden scream, sharp, piercing, and clutched what looked like two small human-shaped bodies to its chest. Children-sized, motionless, held protectively or possessively. Its arms were long and thin, hands stretched and webbed like they were built for speed. Below the waist, there were no legs, only a massive tail, wide and powerful, glowing faintly as it moved. This wasn't something from folklore. This wasn't a costume. And it wasn't reacting like an animal. It was aware, it was emotional, and it knew it was being watched. But here's the part that still terrifies the diver. Seconds after this moment, in another clip recorded during the same dive, the mermaid does something no one was prepared for. So the question is, why did it scream, and what made it finally move? This mission wasn't about legends. A team of marine experts descended into extreme ocean depth using reinforced superglass technology designed to survive crushing pressure. Their goal was to document unknown life forms. What appeared on camera didn't fit anything in marine biology. Floating in the dark was a humanoid shape, calm, still, almost watching. It had a human-like torso, slim but powerful. And then the detail that froze the room. 4 arms, 2 where they should be, and 2 more emerging lower along the ribs, moving naturally like they belonged there. Its skin reflected a pale blue glow under artificial light, smooth, wet, almost ghost-like. Long fingers stretched forward, slightly webbed, reaching toward the glass, not attacking, just testing. Below the torso, a thick, muscular tail drifted effortlessly in the current. This wasn't the only one either. The team recorded 3 to 5 different creatures that day. But in the next clip, something changes. So the question is, were they being discovered, or were they already aware of us? This dive was never meant to turn into a nightmare. The diver entered an underwater cave off the coast of Mexico, a place known for silence, darkness, and tight spaces where sound barely travels. At first, the footage looks normal. Blue light cutting through murky water. Rock walls closing in. Then the camera catches a face staring back. It looks human, but nothing about it feels human. The skin is a cold blue, almost glowing. Its eyes reflect yellow-green light like a deep-sea predator. Long, pointed ears frame a calm, unblinking expression that doesn't show fear, only awareness. As the diver drifts closer, details become impossible to ignore. Smooth, wet skin, faint scales along the shoulders. Long, slender arms wrapped tightly around a small, child-shaped figure held against its chest. The child doesn't move. This isn't an attack. This is something far more unsettling. A creature protecting or claiming what it's holding. Below the surface, a powerful tail shifts in the darkness, blending into the cave as if it belongs there. The water grows still. The stare doesn't break. And then, without warning, the mermaid lets out a scream that echoes through the cave. The diver panics, turns, and escapes back toward the entrance, barely making it out alive. But here's the part no one talks about. So the question is, was that scream a warning or a signal? This wasn't supposed to be dangerous. 2 men walked along a river near the Amazon forest in broad daylight. Brown water, calm surface, nothing unusual. Then they noticed something moving, slow, controlled, right at the surface. At first glance, it looked impossible. Small, human-shaped, about the size of a 6-month-old baby, swimming on its own. No splashing, no panic, just floating and moving like it understood the water. One of the men thought it might be injured. Another thought it was impossible. So they moved closer. Using a small steel pipe, they tried to gently pull it toward the shore. And that's when everything changed. The moment it felt contact, The creature reacted. Not like a child, but like something that knew how to swim. Its movements became fast, precise, intentional. It slipped through the water with control no infant should have. The men froze, because whatever this was, it wasn't drowning, and it wasn't helpless. In the daylight, in shallow river water, they were staring at something that looked human, but moved like it belonged there. And in the next clip, recorded seconds later, the creature turns back toward them and does something neither man expected. So the question is, what exactly did they try to pull out of the river? This wasn't a violent catch. No struggle, no attack, no panic in the water. In the middle of the day, aboard a working fishing boat, something came up in the net that stopped everyone from speaking. At first, it looked like a person, a human face, pale, almost lifeless, framed by long black hair, wet and tangled, clinging to the skin. The eyes were wide open, dark, not aggressive, not angry, just aware. The fishermen didn't rush, they didn't shout, they just stood there, staring, trying to understand what they were seeing. The upper body looked human, smooth skin, cold gray tones, shining slightly in the sunlight like it had never been dry before. The net pressed against its face and shoulders, holding it in place as if it had simply been caught by accident. But below the waist, there were no legs, only a tail. Large overlapping scales reflected silver, dull green, and gray as the boat rocked gently. Not decorative, not mythical, heavy, real, reptile-like. And the strangest part, the creature didn't fight, didn't cry out, didn't try to escape. It just looked upward, past the people, past the boat, staring into the sky as if it was analyzing everything around it, or waiting for something to happen. 3 fishermen in heavy rain gear held the net, frozen between fear and disbelief. No one touched it. No one spoke. Because in that moment, this wasn't a legend. It was a living being, calm, trapped, and watching. And the longer it stayed there, the more unsettling it became. Not because of what it did, but because of what it didn't do. This footage doesn't show an attack. It shows a moment of quiet contact between 2 worlds that were never meant to meet. And once you see what happens next on that boat, you'll understand why none of the fishermen ever told this story the same way again. This wasn't a quiet catch. It wasn't calm, and it wasn't silent. In broad daylight, in open ocean, a fishing net came up heavy, heavier than expected. The crew leaned in, thinking it was a large fish, until the screaming started. Not an animal sound, not metal scraping wood. A scream, high, raw, desperate. Lying on the wooden deck was something no one on that boat was prepared to see. A human-like head, chalky white, almost gray, skin stretched tight, like it had never seen sunlight. Deep, hollow eyes locked wide open, and a mouth pulled open in panic, revealing sharp, pointed teeth that no human should have. It didn't stop screaming. No hair, no blinking, just sound echoing across the deck, cutting through the wind and waves. Its upper body looked human, but wrong. Arms too long, fingers too large, hands pressed hard against the wood as if it was trying to crawl away or climb back to the water. Every movement felt frantic. Every second felt unsafe. Below the waist, there were no legs, only a thick, powerful tail covered in overlapping greenish-gray scales, twisted tightly in a fishing net. The tail slammed against the deck, trapped, restrained, desperate. The fishermen didn't move. Some stepped back. Others froze. Because this wasn't aggression. This was fear. A living thing pulled from its world, exposed to light, air, and human eyes, screaming as if it understood exactly what had happened to it. The ocean stayed calm. The sky stayed clear. But on that boat, nothing felt normal anymore. This wasn't a myth attacking people. This was something caught. A diver, completely alone, deep under the ocean near the coast of Mexico. No noise, no movement, just darkness and pressure. He wasn't searching for anything unusual. He was simply recording the ocean floor until something stepped into the edge of his camera frame. At first, he thought it was another diver, but when he turned his light, his body froze. What stood there looked human, but wrong. Its face was pale gray, almost lifeless. Its eyes were deep, dark, and empty. No reflection, no emotion, just staring. The mouth hung slightly open, stretched longer than a normal human's, like breathing was difficult or unfamiliar. Long dark hair floated around its head, blending into the shadows, and its body was tall, thin, almost swallowed by the darkness around it. The creature didn't attack. It didn't move fast. It simply drifted closer and stopped, face to face, staring directly into the diver's mask. The diver later said this was the moment he truly believed he was not going to make it back alive. And then, without warning, the creature slowly turned and disappeared into the dark ocean like it was never there. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. If this thing wasn't aggressive, then why was it watching him? And more importantly, what else is living down there, waiting in the dark? It was supposed to be a peaceful night in the Pacific Ocean. 3 women, 2 dogs, just visitors, drifting across dark water, chasing silence and stars. The boat rocked gently until something moved beneath them. At first, they thought it was waves. Then the faces appeared. Pale blue skin, eyes locked, unblinking, hollow, watching. Their mouths didn't scream. They waited. One creature rose close to the boat, its face stretched unnaturally smooth, almost human, but wrong. Another appeared farther out, near the border of the water, as if more were hiding, waiting their turn. The women froze. Fear stole their breath. The dogs sensed it first, silent, tense, refusing to look away. These weren't animals, and they weren't myths. Something intelligent was observing them, studying them. In the darkness of the Pacific, the visitors realized one terrifying truth. They were never alone, and whatever lived there had been watching for a long time. We are exploring them in next clips, so don't miss it. This shocking footage was recorded on a beach in Nepal, and within minutes, it stunned everyone who saw it. Lying on the wet sand was a creature unlike anything ever documented before. Its massive body stretched over 20 feet, covered in metallic blue scales with pinkish fins and sharp spine. The head looked ancient, armored, almost alien. People gathered in fear and disbelief, recording every second, unable to explain how something this enormous came ashore. Experts were silent, and the world was left asking one terrifying question, which is in the next clip in this video. What you're seeing is a paused moment from a real video recorded late at night near a lake in Malaysia. 2 doctors were walking along the water after finishing their work. They weren't searching for anything unusual. The area was quiet, dark, and almost empty. Then their light caught something tangled near the shoreline. At first, it looked like a fishing net pulled up from the water. But when they focused their light, they realized something was inside it. The body was flat and wide, dark gray to black in color, lying completely still. The skin looked thick and leathery, almost armored, like it was built to survive deep pressure. Its feet, or what looked like feet, were tightly trapped in the net. Both of them thought the same thing. It's dead. The male doctor froze, unable to move closer. But the female doctor stepped forward, forcing herself to investigate. She knelt down, studying the shape, quietly asking if what they were seeing was even real. And then the tail moved, just once, slow, controlled, enough to prove the creature was alive. In the darkness, the shape looked almost humanoid, which is why some people later called it a black mermaid. But scientifically, this was most likely a deep-water marine animal, possibly a large ray-like fish, or a decomposing species pulled from deeper water and trapped by nets. Low light, shock, fear, those 3 things can make the unfamiliar look impossible. Still, one question remains. If this was only a marine animal, why was it found here? And why did it stay perfectly still until it was noticed? It was just after sunset on the coast of Mexico. The ocean was calm, almost unnaturally still, like it was holding its breath. One man sat alone on the rocks, listening to the waves, when something caught his eye. At first, he thought it was moonlight reflecting off the water, but then it moved. There, sitting quietly on a rock in the middle of the ocean, was a figure unlike anything he had ever seen. A mermaid. Her skin was almost completely white, glowing softly in the darkness, as if the sea itself was protecting her. She didn't scream, she didn't run. She simply sat there, peaceful, watching the horizon. Shaking, the man raised his camera. For over 40 days, he would return, capturing moments that left him speechless every time. Each sighting felt unreal, like a dream that refused to fade when morning came. Local people began to notice too. Some believed she was a guardian of the ocean. Others said she appeared only to those who truly respected the sea. No matter what they believed, one thing was clear. This wasn't fear, this was wonder. And then one night, without warning, she slipped back into the water. No splash, no sound, just a ripple, and she was gone, leaving behind a question that still echoes along that shore. What if the ocean has been watching us all along? Next one will shock you. It was supposed to be a normal night at sea. Just fishermen, a quiet boat, and dark water stretching forever. Then the net came up heavier than it should have. At first, they thought it was debris, maybe a large fish, maybe nothing worth remembering. But when the net broke the surface, everyone froze. Inside, it was something none of them could explain. A creature shaped like a mermaid, but nothing like the stories. Its skin glowed faintly under the deck lights, electric blue. A face pale as silver, and teeth long enough to silence the entire boat. For a moment, fear took over. Hands tightened, hearts raced. Someone whispered, "What is that?" The creature screamed, not in rage, not in attack, but in pure panic. And that's when everything changed. It didn't lash out. It didn't harm anyone. It didn't even try to bite. It just screamed, trapped, confused, terrified. The fishermen realized something important. Whatever this was, it wasn't a monster. It was afraid. The boat went silent. No shouting, no chaos. Just people standing there, watching, unsure whether they were witnessing a myth, a mistake of nature, or something never meant to be seen. Then the net loosened. The creature slipped free. One last movement, one last glow beneath the water, and it was gone. No proof, no answers. Only a memory burned into the minds of everyone on that boat. The ocean has always kept its secrets, and sometimes it reminds us how small we really are. Out on open water, there are moments when humans remember how small they really are. This wasn't a movie scene. This wasn't planned. This was raw reality. What you're seeing here is not just a catch, but a living force of nature fighting for its life. Every movement of this creature carries pure instinct, fear, power, survival. The men aren't celebrating, they're struggling. Because when something this strong ends up in a boat, control disappears fast. One wrong move, 1 second of hesitation, and the ocean reminds you who truly owns it. This creature didn't choose the fight. It was pulled into it. And in its thrashing, you can feel the ancient tension between man and wild. Moments like this don't glorify dominance. They teach respect, because the sea doesn't belong to us. We're only visitors, and sometimes the ocean makes sure we never forget that. This massive sea creature stunned the entire crew. Its dark, armored skin and powerful body suggest a predator built for the deep ocean. As fishermen struggle to control it, one question remains: how many creatures like this still remain hidden beneath the sea? In the darkness of the water, something moves. Not fast, not violent, just watching. At first glance, it looks like a monster. Long arms, an unfamiliar shape, a face that doesn't belong where we expect it to. But the longer you look, the more unsettling truth begins to surface. This creature isn't attacking. It isn't chasing. It's drifting, almost hesitating. What makes it frightening isn't what it does, but what it reminds us of: loneliness, isolation, the fear of being unseen. Many believe this figure represents how the human mind imagines the unknown. When light disappears, in darkness, our brains fill the silence with shapes, stories, and emotions we don't fully understand. The water becomes a mirror, reflecting our deepest fears back at us. Notice how it rises slowly, as if unsure whether it belongs above the surface or below it. That moment feels familiar. We've all been there, caught between two worlds, not fully accepted in either one. This isn't just a creature, it's a feeling. A reminder that fear doesn't always come from danger. Sometimes it comes from not understanding what we're looking at. And sometimes the scariest thing in the dark is ourselves. Out on the open water, fishermen expect nets full of fish. They don't expect moments that change how they see the ocean forever. This video shows a strange sea creature pulled from the deep. Not monstrous, just still, tangled, and silent. Its eyes look almost human, its body shaped for a world we barely understand. For a second, it forces a question we don't like to ask. What if the ocean still holds life we've never truly discovered? And what if some of it looks back at us, the way we look at each other? The sea covers more than 70% of our planet, yet we've explored less than 5% of it. Down there is darkness, pressure, and time moving differently. Lying on the deck is a massive humanoid sea creature, unlike anything ever documented. Its blue-gray skin, razor-sharp teeth, and powerful tail suggest a predator built for the deep ocean. Whether this is advanced realism or pure fiction, one thing is certain: the mystery of the deep still terrifies us. Whether this creature is real, symbolic, or something created for art, the feeling it creates is real. Curiosity, unease, and a quiet sense of respect. Because the ocean doesn't give up its secrets easily, and sometimes, when it does, it reminds us how small we really are. It's just after midnight. The ocean is calm, almost unnaturally still. No wind, no waves, just darkness and the quiet hum of a small boat drifting on open water. Then something appears. At first, it looks like a reflection, a soft glow beneath the surface, moving slowly, deliberately. Not a flash, not a spark, a steady light, as if the ocean itself is breathing. The two people on the boat lean over the edge, trying to understand what they're seeing. The water below them begins to glow brighter. A smooth, flowing shape swims just beneath the surface, completely calm, completely silent. For nearly 10 minutes, it moves alongside the boat. No fear, no sudden motion, just a presence. Then it turns. As the body rolls gently in the water, the glow becomes unmistakable. Bright neon cyan, electric blue, like living light. Its form is long and fluid, glowing as if illuminated from within. The face comes into view for only a moment. Pale white, almost silver, soft, not threatening, not human either. That's when they start recording. There's no splash, no attempt to approach the boat. The creature simply swims, glowing against the black ocean like a quiet signal meant for no one in particular. For a brief moment, time feels suspended. No one speaks, no one moves. And then, just as calmly as it appeared, the glowing figure drifts away. The light fades, the water returns to darkness. The ocean keeps its secret. Was it a rare marine phenomenon? A bioluminescent creature never documented before? Or something older? Something we've forgotten how to recognize? Whatever it was, one thing is certain. On that quiet night, in the middle of the ocean, something beautiful passed by and left only questions behind. It's just after midnight. The ocean is calm, almost too calm. The kind of silence that makes every sound feel louder than it should. A small fishing boat drifts slowly across dark water, guided only by weak deck lights and instinct. Then someone sees it. At first, it looks like a reflection, a soft glow beneath the surface, moving gently, peacefully. But as the boat drifts closer, the glow becomes clearer, a shape, a body. The water around it lights up in shades of neon cyan and electric blue, like the ocean itself is breathing. Its color isn't harsh, it's gentle, almost warm. For nearly 10 minutes, the creature swims calmly beside the boat, never rushing, never afraid. Then, slowly, it turns. What they see next feels unreal. A pale face, white to light silver, smooth and still, eyes closed as if resting, not panic, not struggling, just present. Someone starts recording, no shouting, no chaos, just quiet, disbelief. Later that night, in another location, the same glow appears again. This time, the creature is caught in a fishing net, suspended upright on the deck. The fishermen stand around it, silent. There's no blood, no fight, no fear in its body language. The texture of its skin reflects the light in a way that feels almost unreal, almost otherworldly, synthetic, stylized, as if it doesn't belong to this world, yet somehow understands it. The creature doesn't scream, it doesn't thrash, it simply closes its eyes. And in that moment, something changes. One of the fishermen loosens the net, another steps back. Slowly, carefully, the creature slips free. It falls back into the water without a splash. The glow fades beneath the surface, and then it's gone. No proof of what it was, only the video, only the memory. Whether this was something real, something created, or something misunderstood, one thing is certain. For a brief moment in the middle of the night, humans chose curiosity over fear, and kindness over control. Sometimes the ocean doesn't give us answers. Sometimes it gives us a feeling, and that feeling stays with you long after the light disappears. In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, a group of fishermen are pulling up their heavy net in the dead of night. At first, they think it's just another catch, maybe tuna, maybe a shark. But then, the boat shakes. Something inside the net is fighting back, hard. When the net breaks the surface, the fishermen freeze, because caught between the struggling fish is a creature they have never seen before. Its skin glows blue, like moonlight trapped underwater. Its eyes, wide, furious, burning with a wild energy. It wasn't calm, it wasn't scared, it was angry. The creature grabs the net with both hands, not to attack the fisherman, but to defend the fish trapped inside. Every pull from the fisherman is met with a stronger pull from the creature. Water splashes everywhere. The boat tilts, and for a moment, they all think they're about to flip into the ocean. And then, suddenly, the creature stops. It looks at the fisherman, lets out a deep, echoing scream that shakes the metal of the boat, and dives back into the darkness, disappearing without harming anyone. But the strangest part? Fishermen reported seeing this same blue creature again, on 3 different nights, always near their nets, always protecting the fish. So now the real question is, was this thing dangerous, or was it trying to send us a warning about something deeper in the ocean? Tell me, do you think this was a mermaid, or something even more intelligent hiding in the deep? In the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, a group of fishermen pulled up their nets expecting the usual catch. But what they caught that morning was something no one on this planet was prepared to see, because tangled inside their net was a creature with full green skin, a single powerful tail, 2 human-like arms, and a face that looked almost exactly like a shark. And this is where things get terrifying. As the net came up, the creature began thrashing violently, its tail slamming against the wooden boat, its sharp, shark-like jaws opening wide as it screamed into the cold ocean air. But here's the strange part. Despite all the aggression, it never attacked any of the fishermen. It was fighting the net, not the people. And the fishermen, they didn't panic. They didn't jump back. They didn't run. These were seasoned Atlantic veterans, men who had survived storms, deep-sea creatures, and nights darker than nightmares. One of them even leaned closer, noticing something the others missed. The creature's eyes weren't angry. They were terrified, almost like it knew what humans could do, or maybe what humans had already done to its kind. But wait, this gets even creepier. Because when the boat shifted with the waves, they saw old scars across its body, like someone or something had tried to capture it before. Who else knew these creatures existed? And what happened to the others? We'll come to that, because the ending of this story is even more shocking. As the sun slowly began to rise, illuminating the green scales, the creature made one final attempt. With a sudden twist of its tail, it ripped a part of the net open, something no normal sea animal could ever do. It slipped back into the ocean. But before disappearing, it turned around and stared directly at the fishermen, still, almost like it was warning them. Then it vanished into the deep, leaving the entire crew frozen. That same week, fishermen from another region reported a creature with the same shark-like face following boats during the night. So here's the real question. Are these creatures moving in groups? And if there's one, how many more are hiding in the Atlantic? In 2006, on the quiet coastline of Israel, a moment happened that still shocks investigators today. A moment so strange, so impossible, that even 19 years later, people still argue if it was real, or something the world simply wasn't ready for. The first sighting, it began near sunset. Fishermen and beachgoers noticed a strange figure sitting calmly on a large rock, right where the waves hit hardest. At first, people thought it was a swimmer, until the creature turned its head. Her skin shimmered like wet silver. Her hair moved like seaweed drifting underwater. And instead of legs, there was a long, scaled tail resting across the rock, a mermaid, in plain sight. Before anyone could react, someone grabbed a camera, and that decision would spark one of the most debated videos in history. The crowd gathers. Within minutes, a crowd formed. Some people stepped closer, shocked. Some whispered that it was a hoax. Others froze in fear. But everyone agreed on one thing: that creature was watching them back. Its eyes reflected the sunset, not like a human's, but like something that belonged deep in the dark ocean. And here's the craziest part. What the creature did next made the entire crowd scream. As more people rushed toward the rock, the creature suddenly pushed itself up. Its tail slapped the water with a loud echo, and in one movement, it vanished beneath the surface. Not a splash, not a shadow, not a single bubble, just gone. For 19 years, experts analyzed the footage, frame by frame. Some say it's CGI, some say it's a seal, but others, including local fishermen, swear that this was no animal. They believe Israel witnessed something the ocean was never meant to reveal. But here's what nobody can explain. A second video, reportedly filmed weeks later, shows something returning to the same rock. But this time, it doesn't disappear alone. So the real question is, if this creature wasn't a mermaid, then what followed it back to the shore? Want the answer? That's in the next part. Don't miss it.
Yeah. That's a weird looking seal, man. Are you filming this?
Yeah. How do you, where's the zoom on this?
Yeah, it's that button.
Oh, there, I got it.
It's a seal, man. What is that? Oh my God!
What is that?
Did you just...
In the middle of the dark ocean, everything was silent. A small boat carrying 15 people, men, women, terrified migrants, was drifting through the night, trying to cross a border illegally. But then they felt it, a strange vibration under the boat. At first, they thought it was just waves, until someone whispered, "Something is following us." When they switched on their flashlight, everyone froze. 3 pale white creatures were circling the boat. Bald heads, 2 human-like arms, and a long single tail sliding beneath the water. Their screams weren't loud, but sharp, almost like warnings. The creatures grabbed the sides of the boat, but didn't pull, didn't attack, didn't drag anyone into the ocean. Instead, they looked almost desperate, like they were trying to stop the boat from going deeper into that forbidden part of the sea. People were crying, praying, screaming, but the creatures simply hovered there, watching them, almost protecting them. And then, just as suddenly, they let go. They slipped into the water, vanishing like ghosts. The group survived, and days later, the footage was uploaded online, raw, shaky, terrifying, but looking shockingly real. So now the real question is, why didn't these mermaid-like creatures hurt them? What were they warning them about? Because in the next leaked clip, the ocean tells a very different story. A mermaid doesn't warn. They pulls a fisherman straight into the water. And you'll see that in the next part. In the middle of the ocean, under a moonless, silent night, a group of fishermen were hauling their nets like they always did. But this time, something was wrong. The net felt too heavy, almost like it was being held from below. One fisherman leaned over the edge, trying to untangle the rope, and that's when it happened. A creature shot out of the dark water, fast, aggressive, and nothing like the calm mermaids people claim to see. Its skin shimmered blue-green under the boat lights, its tail thrashing with unbelievable strength, and its eyes filled with pure rage. Before anyone could react, it slammed into the side of the boat, sending water everywhere. The fisherman lost his balance, grabbed the railing, and then the creature lunged again. One hit, one scream, and he fell straight into the ocean, dragged down into the darkness, and never came back. Locals say fishermen had seen this same mermaid many times before, but always from a distance. Never this close, never this violent, and never fatal. But here's the terrifying part. After this attack, more sightings started happening in the same area. Some say this mermaid wasn't just defending territory, it was hunting. In the middle of the night, deep in the open ocean, a group of fishermen were checking their nets like they had done hundreds of times before. But this time, something in the net was pulling back. At first, they thought it was a large fish tangled inside, until the water moved, and a bright blue hand appeared out of the darkness. A creature slowly rose up, its entire body glowing in a cold blue color. Two human-like hands gripping the edge of the boat, and behind it, a massive tail thrashing in the water. The fisherman froze. It wasn't attacking. It was screaming, like it was in pain or terrified. One fisherman held it gently, trying to keep it still. But even in that moment of chaos, the creature never harmed anyone. It only stared at them with wide, glowing eyes, as if begging to be released. And then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it slipped back into the ocean and vanished into the dark waves. No one chased it. No one even moved. They all knew they had just touched something the world still calls a myth. But here's the real question. If this creature didn't attack them, in the next leaked clip, get dragged underwater? A young diver, known among his friends for taking on challenges no sane person would attempt, decided to test the ocean itself. His mission was simple but terrifying. Dive alone into one of the deepest points near the trench and prove that the mermaids people whisper about are real. With only a headlamp, a camera strapped to his chest, and a tank he knew wouldn't last long, he descended meter after meter into a blue world that slowly turned pitch black. At 80 meters, he heard something, not bubbles, not shifting currents, a low, echoing hum, almost like a voice. His heartbeat spiked, but he kept going. At 110 meters, the sand beneath him shifted, a ripple, like something large moving nearby. He held the camera tighter, and then he saw it. A shape formed out of the darkness, long, thin, glowing faintly in pale green. Then the rest of the body appeared, smooth white skin, long flowing hair that drifted like it belonged to the water itself, and a tail that shimmered like silver under moonlight. The creature didn't attack. It didn't scream. It didn't hide. It stared right at him, face to face. Human, but not human at all. The diver froze as the creature slowly came closer, only inches away. It blinked, tilted its head, studying him, almost as if it were trying to understand why a human had come so deep. The diver stretched out a hand, just to see if what he was looking at was real. But the moment he moved, the creature vanished. No swimming motion, no bubbles, just gone. Swallowed by the darkness like it was never there. He rose back to the surface, shaking, replaying the footage again and again, convinced he had seen something the world wasn't supposed to see. But here's the question that makes this encounter even stranger. If this mermaid didn't attack him, then why, in the next leaked clip, does a mermaid aggressively charge at a fishing boat, pulling a man straight into the water? That's the video we're revealing next, so stay ready, because the ocean's secrets are getting darker. On a quiet summer afternoon in Japan, a young girl walked onto the beach just to relax, take pictures, and enjoy the waves. The sky was clear, the wind was calm, and nothing looked unusual until she noticed something massive moving beneath the surface. At first, she thought it was just a large fish, or maybe a drifting log, but when the shadow rose closer, she felt her heart stop. The water bulged, the waves broke, and a shape, long, smooth, and shimmering, slid toward the shore. Confused but curious, she pulled out her phone and started recording. And that's when she captured something no one could explain. A creature emerged, not fully fish, not fully human. Its tail was enormous, over a meter long, covered in scales that glowed greenish-blue under the sun. The upper body looked pale, almost human, with long hair flowing across its shoulders, glistening like wet silk. The creature didn't attack. It didn't even seem scared. Instead, it looked curious. It lifted its head, watching the girl. Its eyes were dark, reflective, almost intelligent, like it was trying to understand her as much as she was trying to understand it. The girl whispered, trembling, "Is this a mermaid?" Right as she took a step closer, a large wave crashed behind the creature. It flinched. Then, with a powerful strike of its tail, it vanished back into the deep, leaving only ripples and a 12-second video that would shock the entire internet. Experts, marine biologists, and even skeptics argued for weeks. Some said it was CGI, some said it was a rare sea animal, but others insisted this is the clearest mermaid footage ever recorded in broad daylight. And here's the strangest part. Local eye fishermen later reported seeing the same creature near the rocks just hours after the girl recorded the clip, as if it was searching for something or someone. Watch carefully, because what you're about to see may be the clearest proof that something in the deep is finally revealing itself. In the remote mountains of Ireland, there's a lake locals refuse to visit after sunset. And recently, 2 fishermen captured something that has reopened a legend long believed to be a myth. While drifting across the silent, fog-covered water, they spotted 2 pale figures rising just below the surface. Not fish, not seals, but white, human-shaped creatures with long, flowing hair and hands that looked almost too human. The creatures moved slowly, almost gracefully, as if studying the boat from a distance. But the moment the fishermen shined their light toward them, both figures vanished beneath the black water without a single splash. The footage shows skin so white it almost glows, and silhouettes that match every ancient description of Ireland's water maidens, beings said to lure travelers into the deep. Locals claim they've seen them for centuries. Scientists say the shape doesn't match any known marine animal, and the fishermen? They've refused to return to that lake ever again. But here's the real mystery. If these weren't animals and weren't human, then what exactly is living in that mountain lake? Tell me what you think before we reveal the full footage in the video. In 2011, on a quiet beach in Mexico, a group of friends thought they had found a pile of seaweed washed up by the waves. But when they moved closer, everything changed. Lying in the sand was a gray-skinned creature, its long tail stretching behind it like something pulled straight out of a myth. The upper body? Shockingly human. The skin looked smooth, almost rubbery, and its chest moved just enough to show it was breathing. At first, they thought it was a dolphin. But dolphins don't have shoulders. They don't have collarbones, and they definitely don't have fingers. The group started recording, their voices shaking, the camera shaking even worse. The creature never attacked, never crawled away. It just lay there in complete silence, gently moving, like it was exhausted or injured or watching them. Some believe it was a hoax. Others claim it was a deep-sea species dragged to shore by currents, something we're not supposed to see. But here's the real question. If this creature was still alive, where did it go when the camera stopped recording? Watch until the end, because this isn't the only time a mermaid-like being appeared on a beach at night. Deep inside the Amazon, where sunlight barely touches the water, a group of local villagers were gliding across a silent, mist-covered lake. Everything was calm, until one of them noticed something moving just beneath the surface. At first, they thought it was just another Amazonian fish, but when it rose closer, their blood ran cold, because this creature had a face. Not a normal fish face, but a human-like face, with rounded features, forward-facing eyes, and a mouth shaped almost like it was trying to speak. Its skin shimmered pale under the humid jungle light, and the moment the boat drifted closer, more of them appeared. Small, fast, and eerily intelligent. They dived in perfect coordination, circling the boat as if watching the humans as closely as the humans were watching them. Some villagers said they felt like the creatures were communicating, not with sound, but with their eyes. These sightings were never explained. No known Amazon species looks like this, and yet multiple witnesses swear the creatures were real. But here's the question that keeps experts awake. If these human-faced fish truly exist, then what else is hiding in the Amazon that we haven't discovered yet? Stay till the end, because what you're about to see might change how you see the rainforest forever. Deep in a beach, one man stumbled upon something that should not exist. Lying in the sand, half buried, half exposed, was a skeleton unlike anything found in any biology book. Not fully human, not fully animal, but something in between. The ribs were too wide, almost like they once protected massive lungs. The spine curved downward into a long, smooth tailbone, and the bones were stained a strange brown color, almost like sea creatures that live far below sunlight. Locals who first saw it said the smell wasn't like any dead fish, and the bone texture looked fresh, as if the creature didn't die long ago. Some claimed the remaining tissue wasn't human at all, more like the thick, rubber-like skin of deep-sea animals. But here's the strangest part. There were no drag marks, no footprints, nothing to show how this thing got here. It was just there, perfectly placed, left behind by something or someone. Experts say it might be an undiscovered species. Others believe it could be evidence of mermaid-like creatures washing ashore during storms. But the truth? No one can explain how a half-intact skeleton like this ended up in the woods instead of the ocean. So let me ask you this. If this was real, what else could be hiding just a few meters beyond the shoreline, waiting to wash up next? In a quiet, fog-filled morning on a remote beach, two men in bright yellow coats were seen walking toward the shoreline. Nothing strange at first, until a bystander noticed what they were carrying. Wrapped in a soaked white sheet was a shape far too long to be human, bending in a smooth curve like a tail. The man secretly capturing the footage zoomed in, and that's when it became terrifying. As the sheet slipped for a moment, you could see it. Silver-blue scales, a fin-like ridge, and a pale arm hanging lifelessly from the side. Whatever they were holding wasn't a fish, and it definitely wasn't a person. The two men looked around repeatedly, as if they didn't want anyone to see. They carried the body toward the rocks near the tide pools, a place researchers sometimes use for emergency marine studies. But no officials were there, no police, no scientists, just the two men, and something that looked disturbingly like a mermaid. Some say the creature was found washed ashore during the night. Others believe the men worked for a private research group that studies unknown ocean species in secret. But here's the real question. Why were they hiding it from the public? And what was inside that sheet that they didn't want anyone else to see? Tell me, what do you think those men were carrying that day? They say the ocean hides more secrets than the universe. But what this visitor saw while walking along the rocky shoreline that day was something so shocking he still refuses to talk about it in public, because at first he thought it was just a dead fish washed onto the rocks. But when he stepped closer, the fish moved. This happened on a quiet oceanside cliff, far away from tourists. Waves crashing, wind howling, and one strange shape lying half hidden between the rocks. The man described it as having a smooth gray skin, almost like a dolphin, but shaped nothing like one. Its upper body looked disturbingly human. Slender arms, long fingers, and a head turned away as if it was struggling to breathe. He froze, because whatever he was looking at was alive. When he took one more step forward, the creature suddenly lifted its head. That's when he saw its eyes, large, glossy, and completely black, like something that evolved to survive the darkest depths of the ocean. Its tail wasn't like fish scales. It was rough, torn, and covered in strange markings that looked almost like symbols. And here's the strangest part. Every time a wave hit the rocks, the creature let out a low, echoing sound, almost like it was calling for something beneath the water. The man wanted to help, but he noticed something horrifying. Each wave pulled the creature closer to the edge, yet instead of trying to escape, it kept dragging itself back toward the ocean, as if it feared the land more than death. Some locals later claimed this wasn't the first sighting. A similar creature was reportedly seen years earlier in the same area, and witnesses said it vanished into the water before researchers arrived. Coincidence, or the same species returning to shore? So now the real question is, what did this man actually see that day? A never-before-seen deep-sea creature? An injured mermaid? Or something far more ancient, hiding in our oceans long before humans existed? Tell me what you think this creature was, because the answers might be even scarier than the sighting itself. Long before modern ships ruled the oceans, sailors whispered a name they were too afraid to say out loud. A creature so beautiful, yet so deadly, that the waves themselves seemed to change when she appeared. Only one man lived long enough to tell the full story. Captain Elias Thorne, the last sailor to meet the mermaid legends once thought were only fairy tales. And today, you're about to hear what he saw. In 1894, Captain Elias and his crew were returning from a long trading voyage across the North Atlantic. The sky was clear, the water calm, until midnight. Out of nowhere, the wind screamed like a living thing. Waves rose taller than houses. The ship, Arclight, was thrown across the ocean like a toy. The crew swore they saw shadows beneath the waves, following the ship, circling it, hunting it. Elias shouted orders, but even he felt it. This storm wasn't natural. And then, the ocean went silent, completely silent. As the wind stopped, the crew heard something impossible. A voice, soft, cold, beautiful. It echoed under the ship like a lullaby. One of the sailors, Jonah, leaned over the railing. His eyes went empty, like he wasn't in control anymore. Before anyone could react, Jonah stepped over the rail and fell into the black water without screaming. Elias rushed to the edge, and that's when he saw her. A pale face glowing beneath the waves, eyes bright like moonlight, silver hair drifting in the current, and a long tail shimmering like scales made from ice. She reached for Jonah with webbed fingers and pulled him into the deep. When the creature rose closer to the surface, Elias finally saw her fully. Not a fairy tale mermaid, not a painting from a sailor's tavern, but a real ocean predator. Her teeth were needle-sharp. Her tail was scarred, like she had fought other monsters in the deep. And yet, her face looked almost human, sad, lonely, ancient. She stared directly at Elias, and for a moment, he felt something he couldn't explain. Not fear, not awe, something else, recognition, as if she already knew him. The creature swam around the ship, circling it slowly. Then she rose again, barely breaking the surface, and spoke. Not in words humans could understand, but through emotion, images, memories. Elias saw flashes of underwater cities, battlefields filled with skeletons, massive sea creatures with glowing eyes, and thousands of mermaids, not peaceful, not friendly, but warriors. It was a warning. Something in the deep was awakening. Something even she feared. At dawn, the mermaid disappeared into the fog. The storm ended. The ocean returned to calm. But the Arclight was badly damaged, and half the crew was missing. When Elias returned to port, nobody believed him. They said he was mad, that he invented the story to cover the deaths. He never sailed again. And he never spoke about the mermaid for the next 40 years. But on the night before he died, he wrote one final sentence in his logbook. "She will return when the deep ones awaken." So here's the real mystery. If Captain Elias was lying, why did multiple sailors across the world describe the exact same mermaid for centuries without ever meeting each other? Are these creatures real? Or are the oceans hiding something humanity was never meant to see? What do you think the captain truly saw that night?
Kick things off with a clip that could make even the bravest person take a step back. Imagine this. A fishing boat drifting in the middle of the ocean at night, completely calm, until the deck lights switch on and reveal something unbelievable. Beneath the surface, strange, human-shaped sea creatures begin circling the boat. Their skin has a dark metallic shine, almost like polished scales catching the light. Their bright, glowing eyes lock onto the camera, and their faces, marked with sharp lines and ridges, look nothing like anything we know from the real world. But the scariest part? They don't swim away. One of them suddenly darts forward, rushing straight at the camera. It opens its mouth wide and releases a scream so sharp that the person filming stumbles backward in pure panic. Meanwhile, the others continue gliding beside the boat, moving together with slow, controlled motions, almost like a coordinated hunt. Some viewers claim it's AI, others swear it's CGI. But if that's true, then how do you explain the natural water distortion, the breathing-like hissing, and the echo of their voices bouncing off the boat? So here's the real question for you. If this footage is genuine, what exactly approached that boat, and how close will they get next time? And trust me, what you're about to see further in this video is even more unbelievable. Are you ready for the next encounter? Next up is a piece of footage that is almost impossible to wrap your head around. A lone fisherman sailing through the cold North Atlantic claims he accidentally captured something moving beside his boat, something he wasn't prepared to see. As the camera shakes in the wind, you can spot two long blue humanoid silhouettes gliding effortlessly on the surface of the water. They don't struggle against the waves. In fact, they match the boat's speed as if it's nothing. Their bodies look like a strange fusion of human shape and aquatic design, with smooth, scale-like patterns running across their arms and shoulders. But the detail that disturbed everyone the most? The ocean around them starts glowing, almost as if their skin is causing the water to react, lighting up with every movement they make. Then comes the moment that sends chills down every viewer's spine. Both creatures turn their heads toward the camera. Their eyes are unblinking, cold, and laser-focused, as if silently delivering a warning. You're not supposed to be here. Some people who saw the clip believe these beings might be part of an unknown intelligent species, creatures that communicate using deep-water sound frequencies we can't even hear. Others insist they look like modern versions of sirens, protectors of territories humans rarely explore. And then there are those who think this footage hints at something much bigger. What if, far beneath the ocean, hundreds of feet below the darkness, something has been evolving alongside us all this time? But here's the real question for you. If this is just the beginning, what will you witness later in this video? Stay with me, because what comes next pushes the limits of what we think we know. A man in Malaysia posted a video that exploded online. He was walking near a river by a neighborhood when he noticed something moving along the edge. At first, he thought it was a crocodile, until he looked closer. The creature had a human-like head, but its lower body moved like a soft, flexible tail. It slid across the rocks for a moment before silently diving underwater. No bubbles, no ripples, nothing a normal animal would leave behind. The part that terrified everyone? That river is less than a mile from the houses nearby. If the video is real, where is that creature now? Many are calling this one of the most shocking clips of the year. A group of fishermen in the North Atlantic pulled up what they thought was a normal catch, until they saw what was inside the net. A creature shaped like a woman, long hair over her face, silver skin, and a tail thrashing under the boat lights. The video was posted on TikTok and went viral instantly. In the panic, one fisherman cut the net and the creature slipped back into the deep. The camera shut off right after. One thing is certain, this was a catch they will never forget. Next is the kind of moment that makes any fisherman want to lock their cabin door. A man out fishing accidentally filmed 3 shapes cutting through the water behind his boat. At first, he thought they were dolphins, until they got closer. These things had human-like faces, long arms and tails that moved with unbelievable speed. They swam right beside the boat, only feet away. You can hear the man shouting, "They're chasing me! Look at that!" as the waves crash around him. For nearly a minute, they followed him before vanishing beneath the surface. The internet exploded with one question. If this video is real, then what else is hiding in the waters we think we know? This footage has been circulating online, and people still can't agree on what they're seeing. A fisherman claims he accidentally caught something tangled in his net, something he swears wasn't a fish. When he pulled it up, the creature began thrashing, trying desperately to get back into the ocean. The men on the boat froze. Long hair, human-like arms, and a silver tail beating against the wood. It didn't look like anything they'd ever caught before. One fisherman kept asking, "Is this real? Are we supposed to hold it?" The creature let out a sound, almost like a cry, and stretched its arms toward the water as if begging to be released. Some viewers say it's a rare sea animal that only looks human. Others believe it's something much stranger. Because if this was actually a mermaid, then one question becomes terrifying. How many more are down there, watching, waiting, and swimming beneath boats every single day? A fisherman, finally heading home after hours at sea, noticed something moving behind his boat. At first, he thought it was just waves, but then he heard it, a sharp splash, then another. He grabbed his light and pointed it at the water. That's when he froze. 3 figures were chasing the boat, fast, their arms cutting through the water like knives, long tails glimmering under the moonlight. Were they dolphins, sharks? No, the shapes were wrong. Too human, too close. One of them lifted its head, and he saw a face. Pale, hair drifting like seaweed, eyes that didn't blink. The fisherman started shouting, "They're following me! What are they?" The engine roared as he pushed the throttle, but the creatures kept up, swimming right beside him as if they wanted something or someone. And here's the question everyone is asking. What exactly chased him that night? And where did they disappear when the camera cut off?
They're still on us! Faster! Push it! Oh my god, look at that! Hold on! Stay right there! She almost grabbed it! Go! Throttle wide, now! Hang on back there! Throttle wide, they're still coming! They're falling behind, keep it up! Don't let up!
A man walking alone in the Amazon rainforest never expected what he was about to find. He said he was following an old trail when he noticed bones scattered near the roots of a fallen tree. But when he looked closer, he froze. The skeleton was tiny, no bigger than a newborn baby, but the shape wasn't human. The rib cage was thin, the arms were long, and the lower body curved into a tail exactly like the shape of a baby mermaid. He recorded everything, his voice shaking as he asked, "What is this? How did it get here?" There were no lakes nearby, no rivers big enough to carry a creature this far inland. So if this skeleton is real, how did a mermaid-like body end up deep inside one of the world's largest forests? Was it brought here? Did it wash up years ago? Or is something living in the Amazon that we still don't understand? In Mexico, a professional diver was exploring a reef more than 100 feet deep when he noticed something strange near an underwater cave. At first, he thought it was just a large fish slipping between the rocks, but the shape wasn't right. It had long hair drifting in the current, pale skin, and a tail that moved with slow, human-like control. The diver got closer, trying to focus his camera, but the moment he approached, the creature suddenly turned its head toward him. For a split second, its eyes reflected the light, almost like a person staring back. Then, with one powerful motion, it darted into the darkness of the cave, disappearing faster than any sea animal he had ever seen. People are now asking the same question. What exactly did he see down there? A trick of the water? Or proof that something intelligent is living in the deep? From the UK Coast Guard has the internet asking one chilling question. Did we just see a mermaid? Look closely. A humanoid figure with glowing eyes breaches the surface before slipping back underwater. Was this really part of a missing person search? Or did the cameras capture something they never intended the world to see? And if it wasn't human, then what was it? Watch carefully on the right-hand side of the screen. At first, it's almost impossible to notice. But slowed down,
The shape is undeniable. A head, a torso, movement too fast, too smooth, too unnatural. The sailor on board clearly sees it too. He rushes to the other side of the boat, tracking the thing as it swims away. Creepy coincidence or proof of something legendary? Now, this isn't the only so-called mermaid sighting sending chills online. In another clip, a swimmer dives into a murky lake. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a deep, guttural growl echoes through the water. What predator makes a sound like that? And why does the cameraman, instead of fleeing, dive deeper to follow it? Would you have kept swimming after hearing that? Because here's the scariest part. When he surfaces again, the camera picks up something terrifying moving in the water just behind him. Real or fake, you decide. But admit it, your first instinct would be to get out of there fast. But these encounters don't stop with shaky phone footage. On Reddit, a fisherman shared a story he swore was true. Offshore at 2 a.m., he and his crew killed the boat's engine after hearing something strange. That's when it started. A woman's voice, faint, echoing, drawn out, singing. He said it wasn't a recording. It sounded wet, alive, like it was rising straight from beneath the waves. Here's the creepy twist. One of the crew began walking to the edge of the deck, almost hypnotized. He claimed it felt like someone was humming right in his ear. Classic sailor's tale. Or modern proof of the siren's call. But maybe the most unsettling footage comes from France. Security cameras inside a pool captured a woman entering late at night, diving into the water, and never coming out the same way. Moments later, bubbles churn violently, the water splashes over the edges, and then a webbed hand presses against the glass. If that wasn't a hoax, what exactly was trapped in there? And let's not forget Spain, 2013. Tourists on a boat filmed what appeared to be a humanoid figure sitting on coastal rocks, tail glinting in the sun. At first, it seemed motionless, like a statue, but then it moved. If it was CGI, it was shockingly well done for the time. If it wasn't, then maybe legends about mermaids have more truth than we think. Fishermen across the world report hearing strange calls at sea. Some describe pale figures pacing boats just under the surface. Others hear songs that nearly lure them overboard. Coincidence? Imagination? Or something far older lurking beneath our oceans? Think about it. Over 80% of Earth's oceans remain unexplored. Could entire species of intelligent aquatic beings exist without us knowing? So, what do you believe? Are these just hoaxes, clever costumes, and stories gone wild? Or are mermaids real, hiding in the shadows of the deep, occasionally brushing past humanity just enough to remind us we're not alone in the water? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Real? Fake? Or something in between? Because one thing's for sure. The ocean has secrets.
In 2009, deep in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, 2 ship workers were on the night shift, talking quietly on deck. Nothing strange, nothing unusual, but the ship's hidden security camera was about to capture something no one was prepared for. Just past the railing, the ocean was completely black, the kind of darkness where even the moonlight disappears. And then, from that darkness, a white figure slowly rose out of the water. At first, the workers didn't notice it, but the camera caught everything. A pale creature, webbed hands, and eyes that reflected the deck lights like an animal from another world. It didn't attack. It didn't move fast. It simply lifted its head, looked directly toward the workers, and unleashed a scream so sharp it echoed across the steel of the ship. The men froze. They didn't run. They didn't shout, while the creature slid back into the black water and vanished without a single ripple. Some experts say it was a mermaid, but others claim it looked nothing like any mermaid ever recorded. And here's the real mystery. That same ship reported strange sightings for months after this event. So the real question is, was this creature trying to warn them, or was it scouting the ship for something bigger?
I just swing in closer to 3, you watch. We'll pull the traps in. Yeah, as long as the wind doesn't die on us. What the? Oh, God! Jesus! Back up! Get away from it! Just look at... Oh, hell no, don't. Oh! It went under! It went under! Where'd it go?
In the early morning calm of the open ocean, when the water looks like glass and even the wind is silent, A group of fishermen noticed something drifting toward their ship, something they first thought was just two large fish. But as the shapes moved closer, their confusion turned into pure disbelief. The creatures lifted their heads above the surface, white and gray skin, long dripping hair, and eyes that reflected the sunlight like polished glass. They weren't swimming like any known sea animal. They were gliding, almost effortlessly. One fisherman whispered, "This can't be real." But the most shocking part? These beings weren't aggressive. They weren't scared. They simply hovered near the boat, watching the men with calm expressions, almost like they were smiling. Long nails glimmered beneath the water, gently tapping the surface as if communicating. For nearly 30 seconds, the creatures stayed there, silent, curious, completely unafraid. And just when one of the fishermen reached for his camera, both creatures slid beneath the waves and disappeared without leaving a single ripple behind. But here's the real mystery. If they weren't hostile, and they weren't hiding, then why did they approach humans so confidently? Do you think this was a warning, a message, or the beginning of something even stranger waiting beneath the ocean? Because the next sighting might change everything. In the middle of the ocean, just a few weeks ago, a video surfaced that shocked millions across social media. A group of fishermen had just caught one of the biggest fish of their lives, a monster so heavy that even 5 men could barely pull it over the edge of the boat. Everyone was laughing, recording, celebrating, until something massive started moving in the water beneath them. At first, they thought it was just another fish, but as the camera zoomed in, a giant, serpent-like creature rose from the deep. Brown-black scales, the size of human hands, a head shaped like a prehistoric predator, and a body so long the camera couldn't even capture the full length. It lunged upward, clamping its jaws around the fisherman's catch, and the entire boat shook. The creature twisted, pulling the giant fish down into the dark water with a strength no man could fight. Many people online said it looked exactly like a sea version of the titanoboa, a creature that was supposed to be extinct for millions of years. But if this wasn't a titanoboa, then what kind of monster is hiding in our oceans today? And here's the real question. If this giant creature is out there, what else could be living in the darkness below that we still haven't seen? Watch the next video. You won't believe what came out of the water next. If you love mysteries, don't miss this. 10 biggest snacks ever discovered in history. The monsters that actually exist. The link is in the description. You're in the middle of the open ocean. No land for thousands of miles. The water is calm, the sky is clear, and then your crew spots something bright orange floating just beneath the surface. At first, everyone thinks it's just a buoy or a piece of lost equipment. But when you get closer, you realize this thing is alive. Its skin glows like a deep-sea lantern. Its body is half octopus, covered in smooth tentacles, but the upper half, it looks eerily like a human woman. The exact opposite of a mermaid. She's lying, motionless, peaceful, almost sleeping. But the moment the crew touches the water, her eyes snap open, and the scream she lets out is unlike anything a human or animal should be able to make. It's so powerful the water around her vibrates. Yet here's the strangest part. She doesn't attack. She doesn't run. She just watches, quietly, as if she's confused or afraid of us. But what happens next is what scientists still can't explain. Because when they followed her deeper into the ocean, they discovered something even more unbelievable. Do you think this creature was alone, or part of an entire species hiding beneath us? Tell me what you believe, because the next episode reveals the truth. Far below the waves, where sunlight dies and pressure turns steel into paper, a lone diver captured something no human was ever meant to see. A creature so pale, so silent, so fast, that experts still don't agree on what it was. But eyewitnesses called it one thing: the White Mermaid. This happened in one of the deepest blue holes on Earth, a place divers describe as beautiful, but terrifying. The diver wasn't searching for treasure. He was testing new deep-sea equipment when his light caught something moving inside the darkness. At first, he thought it was a shark, then a giant squid. But when the shape turned toward him, everything changed. Floating just a few meters away was a white, human-shaped figure. Long hair drifting like seaweed, arms thin and flexible, skin glowing pale, almost like moonlight trapped underwater. But the strangest part? Its tail wasn't a tail. It looked like a long, smooth fin with jointed movements, like it could fold or twist whenever it wanted. The diver froze, and so did the creature. What happened next was so fast, it still haunts him. And trust me, what you're about to hear gets weirder. The creature stared at him. No aggression, no fear, just curiosity. Some say that at this depth, human eyes hallucinate, but the diver swears this thing blinked at him the way a human would. Then, without warning, the creature's body tightened. Its tail folded like a ribbon, and in a single movement, it shot backward into the darkness. Moving faster than any dolphin he'd ever seen. The only sound the diver heard was his own heartbeat. When he surfaced and reported it, people laughed, until he showed them the footage. Online forums exploded. Some said it was a deep-sea albino seal. Some said a new species of humanoid. Others? They said it was proof of the thing sailors have been warning us about for hundreds of years. Not mermaids, something older, something smarter, a species that evolved in complete darkness. And here's where the mystery gets even stranger. A few biologists pointed out that deep-sea creatures often lose pigment, turning pure white, exactly like this figure. But then a diver from another country came forward, saying he saw the same white creature swimming in a spiral pattern as if watching him from a distance. 2 sightings, same description, same unnatural speed. Coincidence? Or evidence of an unknown species living deeper than anything we've ever recorded? If you like, you can watch our Mermaid series in the end of this video, where you will see unbelievable encounters. So now, the real question is, if this white creature truly exists, is it curious about us? Or hiding from something far bigger in the dark? Because in the next episode, we're diving into a case where a creature didn't run away. It followed the diver. Do you think this was a mermaid or something else entirely? In the deepest part of the ocean, a place where sunlight dies and mysteries come alive, a group of divers recorded something so strange, so unnatural, that even marine experts still argue about it today. Some call it a mermaid. Others call it something much, much older. But here's the part nobody expected. This creature didn't just appear once. It appeared 4 different times, in 4 different locations, and each time it followed the divers. The first encounter. It happened near a vertical drop-off where the seabed suddenly falls thousands of feet straight down. The lead diver spotted something moving in the dark water, slowly rising toward them. At first, they thought it was a giant fish. But as the creature came closer, they saw the truth. A pale white upper body, almost human-like, and a long green lower body, not with a tail, but with fins that opened and closed like breathing wings. The creature didn't attack. It didn't even react aggressively. Instead, it simply hovered there, watching them, silent, except for a strange, soft cry-like sound, almost like a whale's song, but higher. And then, a sudden movement. It ducked behind a rock wall and vanished. The second encounter. 3 days later, and over 60 miles away, another dive team reported the same creature. Same green and white body, same glowing eyes, same eerie, echoing scream. But this time, it didn't hide. It followed the divers at a distance, as if studying them. Every time they turned their lights off, it came a little closer. Every time they turned them on, it froze, almost like it was trying to understand them. The third encounter. The third sighting happened near an abandoned underwater volcanic vent. The water was warm, loud, full of pressure bubbles, and yet the creature moved through it effortlessly. It swam alongside the divers for nearly 6 minutes, making no sound, until the very end, when it released that same bone-chilling scream, not a threat. More like a warning. One diver said it felt like it wanted to tell us something, but couldn't. The final sighting happened far from the first 3, in a region known for deep-sea strange lights and unexplainable sonar readings. This time, the creature appeared behind the divers, slowly drifting closer until it was only 2 meters away. No fear, no aggression, just watching. And then, for the first time, its body began to glow, soft green pulses, like communication signals, traveling from its head to its tail like fins. and after one long, echoing scream, it slipped back into the abyss and was gone. 4 encounters, 4 different locations, one green and white creature that never harmed anyone, but always watched, and always screamed before disappearing. So the question is this a new ocean species? A strange mutation? Or are these creatures actually trying to communicate with us?
In the middle of the silent Pacific night, a research vessel drifted calmly over the dark waves. But what the crew dragged up in their nets that night was nothing they were prepared for. At first, they thought it was just a mass of seaweed until it moved. When the spotlight hit the net, the entire crew froze. Inside, it was a creature with brown, scaled skin, massive, sharp teeth, and arms that bent like a human's, yet its tail shimmered like a deep-sea predator. The creature let out a scream so loud and metallic, it echoed across the ocean. The crew panicked as it twisted violently, trying to rip through the ropes. Every second, its movements grew faster, more desperate, almost intelligent. One expert tried to get closer, until the creature snapped its jaws an inch from his hand. That's when they realized this wasn't an animal fighting to survive. It was something trying to escape back home. And in one final burst of strength, the ropes snapped. The brown mermaid launched itself off the deck, hit the water with a thunderous splash, and disappeared into the black Pacific forever. But here's the part that still haunts the crew. Was it escaping from them or warning them to stay away? Tell me, if you saw this thing crawling out of a net at night, would you run or try to film it?
What's that?
Keep it tight! Don't let it near the edge!
That's not a fish, man. It's like a woman.
Cut the line!
Hold on!
Break it free!
God, it's coming out! Jesus!
Let it go!
It's gone.
Get the light on the water!
In the Pacific Ocean, miles away from any coastline, 4 marine experts were dragging their research nets out of the water when something impossible happened. At first, they thought the net had snagged on a rock. Then, it moved. When they pulled it closer, the entire crew stepped back in shock, because tangled inside the net was a creature unlike anything ever recorded. A body shaped like a human torso, but with long, jointed spider-like limbs stretching in every direction. Its skin was pale, almost translucent, and every time the ocean light hit it, you could see veins pulsing underneath. One of the experts whispered, "That's not a fish. That's something else." The creature twitched. Then all 8 limbs suddenly tightened around the ropes, trying to rip itself free as if it understood it was captured. Terrified, the crew backed away, filming from a distance as the creature let out a low, vibrating hiss, a sound no one on that boat had ever heard before. And then, in one violent motion, it tore through the net, dropped back into the dark water, and vanished without a trace. But here's the real mystery. If this wasn't a known species, then what exactly did those marine experts pull from the deepest part of the ocean? And if you're shocked to see this, then I would like to tell you that in the end of this video, you will see the more terrifying videos of mermaid encounters, so you can watch our Mermaid series. The next one will completely shock you. In the darkest corner of the Pacific, where sunlight never reaches, marine experts recorded something they were never trained to face. A creature, half fish, yet unmistakably human, floating perfectly still in the water. At first, the team thought it was a lifeless body. The skin was pale, the hands were shaped like ours, but the tail, long, scaled, shimmering like deep-sea metal, belonged to no species ever documented. It didn't move, it didn't blink. It simply stared, like it was frozen in time. But then, as the diver got close, the creature's fingers twitched, its eyes shifted, and the entire team froze, expecting an attack. But instead, it slowly drifted away, almost intelligent. It wasn't scared, and it didn't try to hurt anyone. The experts followed it for a moment, watching it glide deeper into the ocean trench. And then, without a sound, it vanished into the darkness, as if the ocean itself swallowed it. But here's the real mystery. If this creature wasn't hostile, was it trying to communicate with us? And if so, what else is living down there that we haven't seen yet? Stay until the end, because this is only the beginning. In a quiet village deep inside Thailand's river jungles, a group of local fishermen made a discovery they still refuse to talk about in public. It started just before sunrise. A wooden boat drifted back to shore. But the men on board didn't look excited. They looked terrified, because sitting completely still in the middle of their boat was something that looked almost human. A pale figure, 2 arms, a human chest, even a face that looked confused, like it didn't know where it was. But below the waist, everything changed. Instead of legs, the villagers saw one massive, snake-like body, thick, brown, scaly, almost alive even when it wasn't moving. No thrashing, no hissing, just frozen, as if it was stunned or injured or simply observing them. The villagers whispered that it wasn't aggressive. It didn't try to attack. It didn't try to escape. It just sat in silence, staring at everyone with blank, lifeless eyes. Some say they felt like the creature was waiting, or maybe hiding from something worse in the river below. But the moment someone tried to touch it, the creature slowly slid over the boat's edge and vanished into the brown water without making a single splash. And here's the real question. If creatures like this exist in remote rivers, what else is hiding in the places humans never explore? Would you have stayed on that boat? Tell me. In the freezing night of the Atlantic Ocean, two fishermen found themselves in a moment they would never forget. What they pulled from the water wasn't a fish, and definitely wasn't human. At first, the net felt heavier than anything they had ever caught. But then, something inside began thrashing wildly, screaming in a voice that echoed across the dark waves. When they lifted the net into the boat, their lantern light revealed a shape twisted between ropes. A creature, half human, half something from the deepest nightmares, was staring at them with glowing, furious eyes. Its skin was slick and silver, dripping seawater onto the deck. Its tail, long, muscular, and razor-scaled, kept slamming against the wood hard enough to crack it. The fishermen froze as the creature's sharp teeth flashed in the light. Every movement felt like it was ready to tear the boat apart piece by piece, and yet, despite its strength, it couldn't escape. The net had tangled tightly around its arms and tail. With every struggle, it only trapped itself deeper, its anger building, its screams turning more desperate. The men tried to back away, but then something unexpected happened. The mermaid stopped moving, completely still, its chest rising slowly, almost like it was thinking or listening. In one sudden burst of strength, the creature twisted its body, snapping part of the net. The fisherman stumbled backward as it dragged itself to the boat's edge. With a final, furious scream that echoed across the empty ocean, it launched itself back into the dark water, disappearing instantly beneath the waves. Only a few bubbles rose to the surface, and the Atlantic fell silent again. Since that night, the fishermen refused to return to that part of the ocean, and the net they recovered had deep claw marks, proof that what they caught was no ordinary creature. But here's what nobody can answer. If that mermaid was truly aggressive, what was it running from? And more importantly, what else is living in the Atlantic that we haven't seen yet? I will suggest you to watch the full series of Mermaid that will open your eyes. And if you want to uncover more terrifying ocean discoveries, watch the next video. You won't believe what we found next. In the endless blue, where sunlight fades into cold darkness, one ocean explorer found something no scientist has ever documented. A creature so calm, so silent, yet so unnatural. It forced the world to question what else is living beneath us. But what makes this story truly terrifying is that this creature didn't appear once, not twice, not even 3 times. It appeared 4 different times, in 4 different locations, and every encounter was recorded. Let's begin. The first discovery. It happened near the coast of Indonesia. An ocean explorer was snorkeling in shallow water when he noticed a dark shape lying still on a rock. At first, he thought it was a drowned child. Its skin pitch black, smooth, almost rubbery. But when he lifted it gently, it didn't resist. It didn't move. It just stared, with large, glassy eyes. Eyes too big for a human. Its body was small like a child's, but the lower half tapered into a soft fin, almost like a newborn mere creature. The explorer said the creature felt warm, almost alive, yet completely calm. He placed it back into the water, and it disappeared with a slow, silent drift. But this was only the beginning. 3 months later, a team exploring a river mouth in Thailand reported the exact same creature. Same size, same black skin, same massive eyes. This time, it floated near the surface, not moving at all. One diver swam close, touched its hand, and the creature grabbed back, not violently, just gently, like it recognized human touch. When the divers tried to bring it to shore for research, it let go, then slowly sank into deeper water, vanishing in seconds. Scientists dismissed it as a rare sea mammal, but the explorers knew what they saw. The third encounter happened far from land, in the Indian Ocean. A fisherman found the creature tangled in a fishing line, still calm, still not resisting. He lifted it onto the boat, and the creature looked up at him. No screaming, no attacking. Just a quiet, slow blinking, almost like it was observing him. Witnesses claimed it breathed softly, with tiny gill openings on its neck. Its fingers were long and webbed, too long to belong to any human child. The fisherman placed it back into the sea out of fear, and once again it drifted away without a single movement. The fourth sighting is the most shocking. An ocean explorer, the same one from the first encounter, found the creature again, lying calmly on a coral shelf 20 meters underwater. But this time, there was another one floating nearby, a second identical creature. Both were perfectly still. Both were alive, both watching him with glassy, silent eyes. He held one in his hands, and it didn't try to escape. It didn't attack. It didn't even blink quickly, just stared. Some experts now believe these creatures are not mermaids, but juvenile forms of something bigger, something that only rises in daylight, something watching us from the deep. The unanswered mystery 4 sightings, 4 identical creatures, 4 moments where humans came face to face with something we are not prepared to understand. They never attacked, never moved violently, never harmed anyone. But the real question is, if these are just the children, then what do the adults look like? And more importantly, why are they surfacing so often now? 240 feet below the surface, in a place where sunlight dies, a diver in Mexico captured something he was never prepared to see. A creature so pale, so silent, and so fast that even the most experienced divers called this footage nightmare fuel. Today, you're about to see what he saw. And trust me, once you witness this, you'll never look at the ocean the same way again. The diver begins his descent into deep blue water near the Mexican coastline, a spot famous for strange shadows and unexplained underwater echoes. At 240 feet, life becomes rare. Everything slows down. Everything becomes quiet. But that quiet didn't last long, because when the diver's camera panned across a field of smooth underwater rocks, something moved. Something white. Something shaped like a human. At first, the diver thought it was just a piece of coral, a reflection, maybe even a trick of the light. But then, the creature turned its head, slowly, directly toward him. Its skin was pure white, almost glowing in the deep darkness. Its eyes, large, dark, emotionless. Its tail, long, smooth, and unlike any known sea creature. And the strangest thing? It didn't swim. It just hovered, like it was studying him. For nearly 7 seconds, they stared at each other. No movement, no sound, just 2 beings, one from land, one from the deep, frozen in fear and curiosity. But then, everything changed. Without warning, the creature's body twitched. Its tail snapped once, and in an instant, it shot backward into the darkness faster than anything the diver had ever seen. No bubbles, no trail, nothing. 1 second it was there, the next second gone, completely swallowed by the blackness of the deep. When the diver returned to the surface, he was shaking, not from the cold, but from the realization that he just captured something not supposed to exist. Scientists who reviewed the footage said no known ocean species moves that fast. Some say it might be an unknown deep-sea humanoid. Others believe it's a young mermaid, a rare white variant adapted to darkness. But here's the truth. No one has been able to prove what he saw that day. So let me ask you this. If something like this is living 240 feet below the ocean, what could be hiding at 24,000 feet? Tell me in the comments what you think this creature really was. And if you want more terrifying deep-sea encounters, watch the next video, if you're brave enough. For years, leaked mermaid videos came and disappeared like shadows. But a few days ago, something different surfaced. A clip so clear, so close, it shocked even the experts. In broad daylight, on a small fishing boat, a group of people captured a creature that looked nothing like the legends. Half human, half fish, green shimmering tail, white pale skin, and a voice that didn't sound like an animal, but like something begging for help. And the strangest part? The people on the boat weren't scared at all, but the creature was terrified of them. As the fishermen pulled their nets up, the creature got tangled, and instead of attacking, it screamed, curled up, and tried to hide behind the ropes, almost like it recognized humans, or remembered something even worse. Witnesses say its eyes were shaped like ours, its arms trembled like a child, and every time someone moved closer, its tail splashed violently, not to fight, but to escape. So now the world is asking the same question. Was this creature screaming because it was dangerous, or because it's seen something in the deep that we should be terrified of? And here's the real mystery. What happened to it after the camera stopped? In 1984, a simple beach day turned into one of the strangest mysteries ever caught on tape. A photographer was filming peaceful ocean waves until something massive moved beneath the water, something with a tail longer than a grown man. At first, he didn't understand what he recorded. The footage was black and white, grainy, and unstable, because back then, cameras were nowhere near as advanced as today. But when people analyzed the clip years later, they all asked the same question. Is this the earliest real footage of a mermaid? When you slow the video down, you can clearly see a smooth, powerful tail rising from the water, thick at the base, narrowing toward the end, and moving in a way no fishtail ever does. Some say it's a whale, others say it's a trick of the waves. But a few experts believe this might be the first recorded moment showing a creature we still can't explain today. But here's the real mystery. If that was truly a mermaid tail recorded in 1984, why did similar sightings start increasing only after this video leaked? And if this was just the tail, what did the rest of the creature look like? That answer might be hidden in the next story. And trust me, it's even stranger. What if I told you the creatures in these new leaked footages aren't running from danger? They're actually laughing at us. Because what you're about to see feels less like an encounter with mermaids and more like they're playing with humans. In these shocking footages, captured deep in the open ocean, people witnessed something they never imagined. Strange, human-shaped figures jumping from the waves. Not once, not twice, but again and again, almost as if they were teasing the people watching them. Their voices? Sharp, echoing, screams mixed with laughter. Too loud to be dolphins, too fast to be humans. And then, things turned even stranger. Some of these mermaid-like creatures got caught in fishing nets, but instead of panicking, they simply ripped the nets apart with unbelievable force, staring for a moment before vanishing back into the dark ocean with a single splash. No attack, no fear, just a message. Almost like they wanted humans to know, we're here and we're watching. But here's the real question. If these creatures are smart enough to escape nets, strong enough to break them, and bold enough to play with us, what happens the day they decide to stop playing? Find out in the next episode, coming soon.
Get in the box! Ready, one! ちょっと待って。うわ、人か。うわ、いたか今の。なんだよあれ。何これ。あ、離れた、落ちた。今、おい見てこれ。嘘だろ。おい、離れろ。落ちた。よし、落ちたぞ。ナイス。ロープ。ダメ。ケンジ。Oh God! Back! Yeah, that ain't a car. Bloody hell! He's ripping the net. Bloody hell! Hey! Did you see it? What's that? Oh, Jesus! Whoa! I tore out on it! Right! Hold on. Stay up. Christ! Hang on! Whoa! Bloody hell! Here it goes! Did you see that? Jesus Christ. What the hell was that thing? Not wearing a cap. Got it. Neck's clear on the side. How was that? Moving. Hold it. Jesus Christ. It's tearing out. Watch it. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, Jesus. All right. Walk out. Come on, go ahead. You can't get me. Hang on. I've got it. Whoa. Jesus Christ. What the hell? Get it over the rail. Go on. Oi. Jesus Christ. It took it. Get it in the box. Whoa. Ready, one. Got it, steady. What the hell is that? Jesus Christ!
In Mexico, a drone record this.
I don't know whether this is AI generated or a real video, but it is definitely a very mysterious clip. Tell me your thoughts in the comments.
Hold it! Hold it strong! Jesus! What the hell is that? Rope it now! I'm trying! Hold still, damn it! Watch it move! It's slipping! Look out! No! Grab it! Grab it! Damn it! Damn it! See it!
This fisherman was catching fish, then suddenly a head appeared from behind. Take a look at this clip yourself. This video was uploaded to YouTube 12 years ago. Now watch. What do you think about this video? Tell me in the comments. In this video, a scuba diver was exploring 100 feet deep in the ocean of Mexico. Then suddenly, something was captured on the camera. Not just once, but twice. This video was uploaded to TikTok by a man who was on a ship in the ocean. In the clip, you can clearly hear the voice of an unknown girl. What do you think?
Bro, what is that noise? Where are you? This is crazy. I heard it. I heard it. I hear it. Oh my God. That's crazy.
This video went viral on social media. This video was leaked on social media. It's only 3 seconds long and some people believe it's fake, but it's actually a very old clip. He is such a great swimmer. People called him Man Mermaid. Just watch this video. A man was walking in the forest when he spotted something, a skeleton. But when he checked it closely, it turned out to be the skeleton of a child mermaid. Now, you tell me, is this real or fake? Let me know in the comments.
What the hell? What is that, Mom?
What?
Ma, you see this?
No. Holy shit!
What
What
is-
the hell is that?
What is happening? You guys see this? Oh my God, what the fuck is happening? What is that? What is that?
15 years ago, in the mid-of-ocean camera captures something terrifying. This is really amazing video where a one mermaid's playing with dolphins. Watch closely. This video is from Africa, where something has been caught in a village, and it looks like a mermaid. What do you think? Tell me in the comments. This is a footage of unknown place where we can clearly see the mermaids. What do you think about this? Tell me in the comments.
What do you think about this video? I am still confused. Is this fish or siren? This is a mermaid skeleton, which are in the museum. What do you think about this? Tell me in the comments.